run a one-man band out behind his seat and leave a comment below. This is a make or break season for he's got to make an impact. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. It is March 6th, and a lot of people are looking at it going, it's blowing by this year. It is for me too. We got a lot to talk about today. People's contract extensions. The Miami Dolphins are talking about bringing Tua back for a long-term deal. And people are like, oh, maybe $50 million or more a year. Like, people have to understand how contracts really work and what it looks like. And to be completely honest, it might not be a good idea. So will the Miami Dolphins offer Tua that big contract extension? You know, when I watched Tua in the last couple years, and I seen a guy come in from college, a guy that I really do like as a person, a guy that is a good teammate, a guy that people like to have around the locker room, a guy that the NFL would like people to kind of be a role model after, someone who can walk around and say, look, this is your type of athlete we want. Someone who, you know, we're not going to go into the religious thing, but, you know, he's a believer in God. He's a nice guy. He kind of gives good spirits around. People kind of like what he says. He's a good father now, like a family, you know, football, just a model guy in general as a person on the field, right? Someone you'd want your athletes to be like. All that is true. I've said this a lot, and I do like who he is. I like him as a quarterback and everything. But the question comes down to, should they offer him a big contract? We have to tell the truth on this platform. We have to tell the truth no matter where you are. And that's how I feel right now. So I got to give it to you. Should they offer him the deal? For me, absolutely not. Not a long-term deal. Comes back this next season, obviously plays. They bring somebody in. That's great. But they're talking about it right now. They want to know, should he come back? Should he play long-term? Should they give him that big, massive deal? Should McDaniel step out and go, yeah, he's my guy for the future? What's the future look like? Are we talking 1 year? Are we talking 2 years? Are we talking 5 years? Right? And I want to go into the contract information so people can understand. You look out there and you listen to some people on social media platforms, you look at other platforms, they say, yeah, he's going to get $50 million a year, $40 million a year. And let me tell you something, on paper, that might be true. Even like Baker Mayfield, he might get 40, 50 million a year also. Just to me, it's absurd. Played well. And then you start comparing people. What does Patrick Mahomes get? What does Lamar Jackson get? What do these other players get? And then you start really understanding the reality of contracts, the reality of what it's like to be in the National Football League, and then have the eyes on you, the spotlight on you at the quarterback position to get those big time deals. So let me just break this down for you. If in fact, Tua were to get $40, $50 million a year, let me tell you how the contracts work. You're so heavily loaded to the back of your contract, right? Like, say we give you $50 million a year, they're going to say $50 million a year. You start combining, go, let's give you 4 years, you know, $200 million. Okay. You have to go to, where's the guaranteed money? What are we guaranteeing this quarterback, right? Deshaun Watson got a lot of money, guaranteed money. You got, what, $200 and some million, a lot of it guaranteed. Here's the situation. A lot of players, they get front loaded that money in a guaranteed position. It's like, hey, this guy really got that money. And then you have players like Tyreek Hill, which we're going to also, where it's like, look, he might be owed toward the end of his contract like $30 million in a year. And all they're going to do is say, you know what? This isn't working out. We got to restructure. We got cap situation, salary cap deals. We got to move some players on. We got to bring some players in. What are you willing to do to take less money so I can get this quarterback? What are you willing to do to take less money so I can get this offensive lineman? And they start restructuring contracts. That's what you saw at Russell Wilson. Want to restructure a contract. They didn't get to that terminology. Didn't work out. He's gone, right? He's leaving Denver because of some of these issues. So all I'm saying is, Tua's going to get some kind of number, and it's going to come out on paper. Will he actually get that money? It's whatever's guaranteed is what he's going to get, and they'll slowly but surely over the course of the years restructure things, move some things around, and he will not get $50 million a year. Even, you know, like I said, even watching Patrick Mahomes, he got a 10-year contract worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and you always find that these numbers are massive. Even people like Darrelle Revis, a friend of mine went to school in Pittsburgh together. He was getting from the Bucks like $100 million or something like that. He didn't get $100 million. They said, look, we'll give you XYZ years for $100 million. All of a sudden, 2 years goes by and they go, hey, you know what? We gave you, $5 million or $7 million the first couple years. Now we're looking to do something else. And it sounded good. It sounds good. Hey, we're going to give you $100 million. It feels good for your ego. And then after a couple years go by, you go, hey, I only made like $5 or $6 million or $10 million. I'm getting $100 million. Yeah, on paper, but now you're gone. Releasing you made some money. We brought you in. It could have been cool, but it's not. And that's how a lot of contracts work, unless it's guaranteed money. And even though I like Tua, like I said, role model athlete, great guy. He's got great receivers. Jalen Waddle, will he stay there? We'll find out. Tyreek Hill, he's there now. He's got a great running back in Mostert. They have a good defense. I mean, they have a lot going on. They're making some big changes, some big moves. But I just got to tell you, even though I love Tua, I love what he brings to the table, being that he's injury prone, being that the concussions, being unconscious on the field, all these things, these are problematic issues, right? For an owner, problematic issues for the head coach, and more importantly, problematic issues for the team. Now, he played last season, no issues. He's playing there, but like I said, it's 2024. It's two-dimensional time. Players got to be able to run. They got to be able to pass. They got to be able to get out of the pocket, scramble, make things happen with their legs. Get Tyreek Hill open. How do you get him open? Get him a little bit more time, right? Because typically he's open right away with this speed and ability. But if you want him to be open all the time, all you got to do is get outside the pocket, scramble for a second, make somebody miss. Tyreek Hill cannot be covered for that amount of time, right? Literally, they're locking him down, whether they're in cover 2, whether they're in cover 3, whether they're in man-to-man defense, whatever they're playing, they lock him down for a little bit. After a few more seconds go by, it is impossible to cover someone as dynamic as Tyreek Hill. So if you're able to get outside the pocket, scramble, create more opportunity for your receivers, they're going to be open. That's why now in the National Football League, you need two-dimensional players. You got to be able to pass. You got to be able to run. You got to make things happen with your legs. And if you can't do that, say you just have a regular quarterback, you got your Joe Burrows who can sit inside the pocket, and he can also scramble a little bit, but you got your Joe Burrows. They can make it happen. You got your Peyton Mannings of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world. They did it. It's a new era. It's a new era. If you want to invest in a quarterback like that, then you better heavily invest in your offensive line, right? You want to get a Tom Brady, you want to get a Peyton Manning, then you better beef up that offensive line. If you get a guy like Lamar Jackson, now you could spend a little bit more money on your receivers, on those weapons, because he's going to give you more time to get it to those players at the right time. Let's move on right now to the next topic. Is Taylor Swift causing political drama in the NFL? And read this again. I want you guys to understand something. We're not picking political sides here in the chat. You can say what you want. I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is this. Is Taylor Swift causing political drama in the NFL? The reason why I say that is because she's advocating. She's out there asking people to vote. Come vote. Come vote. That's great in her own personal life. She's a musician, billionaire, did wonderful. Great, I guess, person in the eyes of, music. The eyes of the media. As a person, she grew up, she was young, she was talented early on, had a lot of people rooting for her, and all her fans now have moved into the NFL world. Why? Because she's dating Travis Kelce. So here's the point of the conversation. Because she's advocating in a political sense, right? The Joe Biden and Donald Trump, this is going to be a year that we have never seen. People have never probably understood. Things happening across the world, across the globe. You got China, you got Russia, you got who's in what kind of political atmosphere. If you're in here right now, good morning to you. I appreciate you guys watching. But for all the people that are watching Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, it's like, okay, now they're going to start talking political, right? Now, all of a sudden, Taylor Swift's like, hey, get out there and vote, right? So what does that do? She's so far connected right now to the Kansas City Chiefs. Taylor Swift is so far connected right now to the Kansas City Chiefs and Travis Kelce. So when she gets out there and says, go out there and vote, people are like, oh, they connected. Taylor Swift. Okay, Travis Kelce, who's he voting for? Oh, he's obviously following her scheme, right? And then it's like, oh, wait a second. Then the NFL. Why is the NFL, making her such a big deal in the box, right? They're showing her the whole time. And then it's like, oh, now she's voting. What I'm saying is, I think no matter who you vote for, you should do what you want, select what you want, and follow what's happening in the world right now. We have a leader currently right now. See how the world is, right? You see what's going on. Do you feel protected? Without giving my honest feedback, what I'm saying is, do you feel protected out there right now? Do you feel comfortable with how the world is operating? Do you feel comfortable with the war? Do you feel comfortable with how our leader is handling everything, right? That's your own thought process in your own mind. And then you have this new election coming up. So it's like, okay, so Taylor Swift is advocating for this and go vote for this and go vote. So then all of a sudden you connect her to Travis Kelce. So if all the people that, like Travis Kelce before and they were on the Republican side are like, okay, wait a second, he's married to Taylor Swift and she's out there voting Democrat. So now all of a sudden, all these people that used to like Taylor Swift or used to like Travis Kelce, are like, wait a second. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to start losing a lot of love and support from half the world. Half the people that are not voting on that side, they are voting for Republican. So that becomes a problem. And they connect her to the NFL. So now people are like, whoa, okay, back to the Kaepernick, right? The kneeling on the field, all that. So all this stirs up. And all I'm saying is Taylor Swift is a great musician. She's got excellent music. Not many people better than her. I don't listen to it. I don't have one of her albums. I don't put on Taylor Swift. But what I'm saying is the world knows Taylor Swift. There's a bunch of those girls out there that are following her, running around, that are in her whole, the Swifties. They're in that whole kind of thing. And then you connect, Travis Kelce to the mix. And it's like, okay, is she stirring up a lot of NFL political drama? Is she something that should draw a lot of attention to her with the Kansas City Chiefs? And then the NFL, right? And Travis Kelce, are they making that triangle into a little bit more of a political drama right now because people are like, oh, I like Taylor Swift, I like music. Oh, wait, look who she's voting for, right? So if you're on the Republican side, you might start getting upset with her, with Travis Kelce, with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? So I think it just dials in a little bit too much. I think her being so connected is great. Vote for who you want. Not saying that on this platform. We don't have a political platform. I'm not going to get on that road. But I'm just saying, I think she's causing a little political drama right now in the NFL. Let's move on to the next topic. Are you ready for March Madness? So listen, if you don't watch, college basketball at all during the season, or you don't watch NBA all season, you wait for the playoffs and all that, and then here comes March Madness. And I got to tell you something. People that watch, and I'll bring up a bracket here in a second. I know Howard has it for me, but if you don't watch college basketball all season, and all of a sudden here comes March Madness, everybody's filling out that bracket, right? Like everybody's like, oh, who you picking? It's so much fun because you have a bracket out. Actually, pull it up right now, Howard. Show them what a bracket looks like. So now, obviously, there's no teams on here yet. The brackets will be on there, and we can fill in your teams, who's going to win, right? They'll say number 1 versus number, 16, or number 2 versus number 50. It goes back and forth. They put on there who they're playing, yada, 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 right? So you can select and put your college basketball teams in. Now, no one that watches college basketball, this is what's ironic to me. You don't have to watch basketball ever. You don't have to watch college basketball ever. You don't have to watch NBA ever. And then here comes March Madness. Everybody is into March Madness basketball all of a sudden. Get your bracket, $5, $20, $100. You're in basketball pools and all this. And so you're like, okay, let's start betting, right, on basketball. But here's what I got to say. This is what makes it interesting to see all these college basketball teams, all these guys get out there and create stardom and get to, everybody wants to get to right down to the Sweet 16, down to the Elite Eight, and then you have the Final Four, then you have the National Championship. And that's so cool, right? Watching the March Madness best teams play. And I think that's cool. But then here's the thing. People are like, how can you stop? And this is on to the next topic. How can you stop players from gambling? Right? Like this is the basketball pool now. Everyone that's playing basketball, you got people in the NBA, you got people in college basketball, you got people in high school and younger and friends betting, right? How can you stop players from betting? It's in your face. I mean, literally, sports betting is global. Sports betting is probably one of the most fun things to do because you get a chance to watch a game that was interesting and now it's really interesting, right? Like you were watching a game before and you were watching, North Carolina play against Kansas. So you were watching like an NBA game, watching Miami Heat play against the Lakers. It's interesting. Put some money on it. Now it's really interesting, right? I don't care if it's $5, right? Look, if you make a $5 bet, which means absolutely nothing to most people, right? Here's $5. Oh man, I got to watch this game. I got to see them win. Got to see them win. The game became, just got really interesting. All I'm saying is they can't stop these players from betting. They can have anybody bet for them, right? Like, hey, here's $100 or just put it in for me. I got you on 100 or whatever. Players are betting all the time. I'm not cutting anybody's names out. Not trying to say individually people to put them on the show, put them on blast. But I can tell you right now, players are betting on games all season. Now, if you're back there, and this is what's kind of crazy too, right? How many three-pointers will LeBron James make in a basketball game? Or how many three-pointers will this college basketball player make in this basketball game? I got to tell you, if he gets to that point and he's like, you know what, they're betting he's not going to hit that many threes, and he's not going to make 5 or 6 threes, and he makes 3, 4, he's like, you know what, I'm not making these now. Why? Because I'm going to win $1 million, because anybody could bet at any given time. So all I'm saying is, in people's minds, I'm not saying that people all the time are blowing games. I'm not advocating for that players that are out there are just blowing games randomly, like I'm not going to win this game because I'm going to get paid. All I'm saying is you can't even monitor this at all. It's physically, humanly impossible from a timely manner to understand who's doing what. And players are going to gamble. It's part of life, right? Like, it's part of life. And so the hardest part, I think, for college basketball and all these people here, you know, with these brackets and watching the games and the Final Fours and, you know, the championships, it's so difficult to stop anybody from gambling. But I just got to tell you, it's an exciting time and it's fun to watch. But let's move on to the next topic. Now, listen, I have a couple things interesting to talk about. There's a skier brutally crashes into a chairlift. Now, they call it a chairlift. I call it a ski lift, but this is what it is, right? So this guy, okay, now, if you saw this, and these guys are pretty good, flipping, boom. Now, I don't know about you, but why would they build this jump right next to the ski lift, right? Like, I'm just saying, I'm not the most professional skier or snowboarder, but look at this, right? And then you have a guy, look at this guy here, he's going up mountain. He's like, I'm looking for some fun. I went with my cousin one time. It was absolutely terrible. Went off the side of the mountain. But check this out. This guy gets all the way to the top. If you look at this guy, and he comes down and just wipes out everybody. Look, 1, comes down the mountain. Look, boom, 2, boom, boom. Taking everybody out on the mountain, right? So I'm not sure how much you're into skiing or the winter life or winter sports, all that. But I'm just saying, I'm sticking to NBA, NFL, you know, fighting, because this is just not my thing. Like, check this guy out. He's taking out everybody on the mountain. Look, 1, look, here he comes. Boom, knockout. Boom, knockout. Like, the guy's clearing everybody out. And I'm not sure if anybody got injured or not, but I'm just saying that guy's wiping people out. And then back to this guy. Bang. I mean, like, these are the kind of things, these are the kind of sports that you just might not want to participate in, right? Like, wow. I mean, I'm just saying, they put the chairlift right next to the jump. I mean, that's crazy. But anyway, long story short, if you're out there and you're skiing, and I know we're in March, you know, a lot of people are still, if you're out in the Midwest, you're up in the North, you're in the Colorado, these guys are skiing a lot of the time up in Vermont, you're enjoying it. Might want to be safe, because I thought that was absolutely crazy. But let's move on now to the quote of the day. And here we are for everyone in here. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. I thought this was great by Vince Lombardi. I thought this was great. And, you know, it was really important to understand this. And every day I read these quotes, and I also take them seriously as well. But the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. And all that means right now is, look, we all want the success. We all want the reality of life to be fun and enjoyable and financially pleasing and rewarding, and have our family around and travel. And I'm making some big decisions on my life, you know, where I'm living. I have a lot of family up north. I have people in the South. I have friends and family in both places. And so all I'm saying is the hard work you put in every day helps you build the success. And in the dictionary, right? In the dictionary, the only place where success comes before work, right? It's the only place you're going to find that. Outside of that, you got to put the hard work in, build those people around you. Everyone that you're around, that you're dealing with on a daily basis, they're a big reason of where you are right now and where you're going, right? If you're hanging out with a lot of people right now that are positive, they're going to be doing positive things. Every time you do something, hey, I got an idea for you. Hey, why don't you try this? Hey, why don't you move this around? This is a good idea. If you're struggling at all right now, talk to people that are having good times, that are successful, that can give you positive light, right? If you're hanging out with negative people, If you're hanging out with people that are doing the wrong things in life, people that are chasing the wrong things in life, that are doing things that you probably don't want to do, those people around you are going to be negative Nancy's, right? Especially when you're building something. I'm doing this. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Don't hang out with those people. Don't talk to those people. If it's your dream, it's your passion. Hang out with those people that are lifting you up in your world, in your spirit, enjoying what you're doing. And one more time before we sign off today, the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. So all I'm saying is work hard, chase your dreams, enjoy it. And I love giving that quote of the day every single day for something people to look forward to, as I appreciate all of you coming on with me every single day. We have the NFL draft stuff we're going to follow. We have live coverage with players at the combine. We have fighters coming on the show. We have a lot of guys right now. We also have, I'll announce now, Venus and Serena's tennis coach is coming on the show, which is pretty cool, which was interesting. They reached out and said, we want to come on the show and talk about, they have a new book coming out. So they're sending us a book. I'll also announce that, something you should take a look at. But yeah, just in general, all sports, NFL, NBA, like you guys know it, people that are rocking with me every single day as we get ready to expand our platform. I appreciate all of you watching. I will see you bright and early tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and prepare for guests coming on. Some things are secrets. They pop up here and there. And we also have a co-host that will be joining us as we're leading into at least 1 or 2 days a week as well. The face for radio, Brent Chapman, he's coming back on the show. You guys will enjoy that. We have a lot to talk about. And I will see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Until next time.